Alright, I'm gonna get started in just a second. Oof. So, we have to do things slightly differently this time. Ignore the screen for a second, I've just got to fix this. I won't be needing to show this. Yeah, I probably won't need that at all. Okay, let's get rid of that. So, when I'm using ArtRage, I have to stream slightly differently because of the way the program works for these different windows. I'm actually just gonna double check that it's displaying properly. Rid of that. So yeah, this time I can see all the windows, thank goodness. Okay. It's not the prettiest layout, but um, it'll have to do, I think. I'm sure I can improve it in future a little bit, but to catch anyone up who didn't see the live stream, my previous live stream that I did last night, I was working in FireAlpaca. Not FireAlpaca, oh, I have to stop saying that. I was working in ArtRage, this program right here that I'm using again today. And because of the nature of the program, having all these different windows, it's just the way the program is. It's a bit different from other drawing software. You can move the windows all over the place. Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it was only capturing this one main window with the canvas in it, which is kind of okay. You could see what I was doing, but you couldn't see any of these the settings window up here. You couldn't see the presets window, the layers, and I also had a reference open in another window, and none of that was captured because the way the stream was set up, it was only capturing this one window. It's okay. Wasn't the best, but I'll have to stream when I'm using ArtRage. I'll have to just use slightly different capture settings. So I have to capture my whole screen rather than just a window because it doesn't work. It doesn't work out. So here we are again in ArtRage. Welcome to anyone that's joining live or that watches this after it's posted up onto YouTube. I did some painting in the software last night. I'll quickly mention if anyone's interested in this software, if you've never heard of it, check it out. It's actually 50% off at the moment, and it's a very reasonably priced software. It can be a little bit potentially a little bit tricky to navigate because it is, I find it anyway to be a bit different from lots of other digital drawing and painting software. But hopefully my videos might help you out a little bit. But yeah, if you're interested in something that does a pretty good job, a pretty amazing job actually, of simulating traditional mediums like what have we got? Pastels, watercolors, oil paints, things like that. Could definitely be worth looking at. So I have put a link to the website for the program. I've put the link in the description, so feel free to check that out if you'd like. I'm going to start a new painting so that I've got the size that I want. Centimeters, so we're going to make it high resolution, 350 dpi, and the width will be 30 and 21, which is practically the size of an A4 piece of paper. There's lots of options. Now, again, last night when I was using this software, I'm wondering if this window showed up when I even first started, but you can pick your I want to say canvas, but there's like the background that you're painting onto, the material that you're painting onto, and there's heaps here. Look, there's art papers, there's different types of canvas, there's decorative things. I don't even know, like look how many there is. I didn't check to see if this came up on my stream last night, but given that it's a different window. Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, I'm going to stick with this straight up plain canvas that's already there, and work with that. So I've got my size and my DPI sets. I'll say okay. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now, I figured I might paint from a reference again. I didn't decide anything. I should probably start deciding things ahead of time, but time just feels so short. Like, I've got so much to do every single day. I really have to set a bit of time aside for maybe planning my live streams, even just loosely. I'm not very good at sticking to plans. I'm going to be really transparent about that. I kind of don't like schedules and planning too much. I bet. There we go. But at least a loose plan so that I can have an idea of what I'm going to do. Because coming in blind is a little bit, a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to be kind of like stale or boring or anything like that. I like to keep things moving. I suppose because I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that last video, given that you couldn't see so much of what was going on. I might just do a very quick run through of a few things in the software. So I'm going to start with the paint tube down here on this tools menu down here. That just like blops paint down onto your canvas as if it's coming out of a tube of paint. So you can blop it down like that. It doesn't look very impressive, but then you can grab your palette knife, pick one of these presets. I like the hard out smudge. You can change the size, and then you can start. I'll actually zoom in so you can see a bit better what's going on. And then you can start pushing the paint around, and you'll see that they interact with each other, they blend together. Maybe that's a tiny bit too big. And yeah, it's really fun. Even just doing this is pretty entertaining. Can see them smudging together and blending, mixing, creating some really interesting textures and whatnot. I'll zoom in even further so you can kind of see it's really doing a pretty amazing job of emulating like wet paint, which is great. The other main tool I was using yesterday was the oil brush over here, and I was choosing the normal round from the presets. That just paints down, I suppose, oil paint, and you can really see the brush strokes and everything like that. This is one of the tools I was using yesterday, and one of the presets as well. I left it. If you change these, I don't know what it does. I'm not. I haven't used this software a huge amount yet. I explained all that in my previous video if you want to have a listen, but basically I'm not, by no means am I super familiar or very professional with this particular software, but I want to be better. I'm really interested in it. It's really, I don't know why it's taken me so long. I don't know. Part of my personality, I suppose. It can take me ages to get around to doing things. And unfortunately, ArtRage is one of them. One of the many things that takes a while. So you can see, hopefully you're getting an idea pretty quickly here, like seeing what it can do. Even when you lay it down with the oil brush, you can then come in with a palette knife, smear it out. It's pretty cool. I think it is anyway. Pretty amazing, powerful software. The other main thing I was using last night was the pastel down here in the tool menu, and I was using the medium. You can see there's quite a lot of presets. I was using the medium pastel, and let's just jump to a different color. And this worked. I found it worked really well over the top of, or with, like working with the oil paint. Like, I just found it looked really great, blended in really nicely. Grab some sort of pinky purple from over there. I really like how these two work together, so they may well become my main, like my go-to, I don't know what to call it, tools, mediums tools within the software. I also used the airbrush, which is right here, down in the tool menu. I used that a fair bit. I think I was just using the big and subtle, and I was changing the opacity a little bit, and that's just useful for, you know, subtle, soft little additions. Changing colors slightly, things like that. And you can also set the tool itself to apply with a blending mode on it rather than applying the blending mode to the layer. You can do that as well under this little menu here, blending mode, so that it affects the whole layer. But if you want to apply it directly to the layer, you know, you can put the blending mode straight onto the tool. So let's pick something like color dodge, because that's pretty obvious. That's a, and now it's creating kind of like a glowing effect rather than putting the color. I'll change it to another one to give another example, like multiply. If I, now it's sort of darkening. It's still using the color that I've got selected, but it's going, you can see here it's getting lighter because it's a color dodge, and here it's getting darker because it's a multiply. All sorts of different ones. I'll leave that on normal. Did that say watercolor? It did. What does that do? I don't think I've seen that before. I guess it puts it down as a watercolor effect, but from the airbrush tool. Not 100% sure. There's still a lot I have to learn and discover in this software, but very powerful tools. Lots you can do with it. I said in my previous video, you know, you can, you know, could potentially get a little bit overwhelmed by how many things there are, but I think if you're interested at all, just take your time with it and just try things out little bit by little bit. You know, have a quick go of all the tools if you like, try a few presets, and then just find a couple that, you know, you feel like you resonate with or you enjoy using. So for me, that was very much the oil brush and the pastel, a little bit of the airbrush here and there for adding in more subtle color adjustments or whatever. I didn't really use the paint tube yesterday or the palette knife, but I kind of don't mind those either. And of course, there's a few other things you can check out, test out for yourself if you're interested. So that is sort of, yeah, very quick rundown of some of the messing around I did yesterday as well. Was a bit like that. But now I'll choose a reference image to work from, and this time because of the capture method I've got set up, you can see what I'm going to search for. Let's do something like a sea creature. I really love sea creatures, so maybe a squid. I'll try to find something a bit simple. Oh, I don't want to see dead ones. I just want to see cute little... Nothing. I kind of want to keep it simple-ish. A little bit. Because I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have to stream today. Hopefully at least a couple of hours. It's going to depend a little bit on what time my partner's getting home. Because I'll stop streaming. Oh, that's kind of cute. Still so detailed. Maybe I'll focus in on a particular area. Like crop it. because painting the eye would be great. But this is a very, very detailed, obviously very, very, very detailed image. I'll save it anyway, in case I do want to use it. What else is maybe not too intensely detailed? I picked a thing, didn't I? I mean, as much as I love squids and ocean creatures in general, they're a complex thing. I feel like this is beautiful too, but look again, look how complex. Oh, look at that. Look at their eyes, are amazing. So pretty. Or, if not a squid, maybe a jellyfish? Let's try. Also fairly complex, but I'm just scanning around for something that might be not too intense to paint. Not sure. Not sure, guys. It would be awesome if some people end up jumping in the chat saying hi and maybe making some suggestions, but let's assume that we're gonna have to just pick something. What's this look like? Pretty. Should we just go with that first squid? Phantom jellyfish. Very cool. Spotted box jellyfish. Very cool as well. What is this? Fish swimming inside a jellyfish. That's awesome! Is the fish alive? I hope the fish is alive. That's such a good image. I'm gonna Google, because that's even better. Yes, there's so many. That image is way too small and blurry to use as a reference. That's so cool. Cool and ridiculous. Hilarious. It's like, I wonder if they can get out. It would almost be like being trapped in a plastic bag or something for the fish, I would have to imagine. This is maybe one of the better ones that I can see. Man, that's amazing. Don't know what it is, but it's amazing. Alright, so either this, I'll save this one as well. Throw it on my desktop. Hopefully that other one worked. And the last thing, which these just gave me an idea, I've been a bit either a tuna fish or a herring. I've been really caught up on herring lately for some reason because they're so pretty. I think it was specifically the Atlantic that I was really appreciating the beautiful colors of. Unfortunately, this is going to result in seeing some dead fish, which is a bit unpleasant. Man, I wish some of the images were a bit bigger, huh? I'm trying to get one that really shows the beautiful coloring on their scales. Which is proving to be a bit more challenging today. Is this an illustration? I think that's an illustration. I don't really want to work from an illustration. I'd rather work from a photo. But none of these are great photos, to be honest. This one's like not too bad. I'll grab that one for a sec. For now. Yeah, I don't think that other image actually worked. That's a shame. Um, that's kind of just sad, to be honest. Yeah, see, this one shows the colors really beautifully, but it's not like the full animal, which will make it hard to paint. This is sorry guys, finding this reference image is proving to be challenging in and of itself, let alone getting up to the painting of the thing. Um, let's try blue, blue herring. See, no, not the bird. Not herring the bird, herring the fish. It gets a bit confusing, doesn't it? Again, shows the colors, but the photo is kind of not great. I feel like I was finding much better uh, photos when I was looking for references the other day on my other on my like tablet. I feel like I had no problems finding really nice photos to use as reference. And now I can't find anything. This close-up's kind of interesting. This one, no. Man, guys, I can't find anything. Sorry, I should do this ahead of time, I think, in future. I'll definitely start planning out my streams. Ah, that's a cute photo. Okay. Let's go with that. Alright, let's get moving. So, reference. Uh, let's grab and hopefully that worked. I think it did. Awesome. Let's get rid of that window. Move the reference over here somewhere. There we go. Stick this line in. It doesn't really matter if you see the layers, I don't think. Okay. There's our reference. Not the absolute best photo, but that's okay. That'll do. Alright, let's start painting. I'm going to start out with the normal round inside the oil brush. And I'm going to color pick from the photo because it's going to move things along a bit more quickly. So here we go. Maybe a little bit smaller. Let's get this in. Let's just try to get the rough shape of the fish at least. I think I did a rough sketch yesterday when I did the painting of the eye. I did do a rough grey lead sketch first, but hopefully not too necessary. I'm just gonna try to mark it in instead this way. Back a bit further. Like that. It's gonna be really fun to try to capture this shine that's going on the fish, on the scales, and these beautiful colours up here as well. Going to be difficult. I'd like to be able to just sort of like crop this a bit. I could, but that would be more mucking around. So I'm just going to do the best I can with what I've got. And try to block in rough colours to start with. some fin here, and a fin roughly, how far back from the eye? Maybe here? There's a little fin up here, around about here. And then tail area. Like that. Okay. And then the end where it joins up. I guess I should learn some anatomical names for the parts of the fish. That might be good. And I wouldn't know what section I'm talking about. Maybe know the dorsal area and the dorsal fin. Let's see. So up here is this very, 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 very dark blue, almost black. And that kind of seems to run like the length of the back and then up onto the tail a tiny bit like that. The sort of, I don't know what to call this, mouth, snout, muzzle? I don't know what the right word for a fish is. And there's this like nice yellow area that it comes into. I feel like the angle of Trinidad is a bit slightly different, and maybe the fish's body needs to be a bit longer. Let's try transforming. I think that's the transform too. Yeah. Do I have to select or? Oh, alright, I'm just going to stretch it slightly. Rotate it slightly. Maybe upways a tiny bit. That'll do. Press enter. Also made it a little bit bigger as well. I might just move it to be around about there. Alright, that's good enough for the adjusting. Let's go back to my oil brush and keep filling in the colors. Alright, let's see. So there's this silvery kind of blue around the eye. Again, I kind of wish this fish was swimming, but that's just the nature of trying to find reference images for animals, especially anything that lives in the ocean. It's, you know, it's going to be lots of photos of dead animals, unfortunately. Alright, what's this? A little bit of this beautiful blue, green. There's lots of colours going on here. I'm going to have to focus in on that area afterwards. For now, I've got to try to look at that even, like that colour. It's pink. It's like a beautiful bright pink right here. Very pretty. And then there's these vivid, where is that happening? Kind of here and here. And then there's this almost, I can only describe it as like pearl kind of shimmer. Alright, and there's this sort of, where's that related to the pink? In front of the pink. So here, that's this area, which I've kind of almost already done a little bit. And there's some more here. Yeah, this area is one of the more complex. Here there's a lot of detail, here there's a lot of detail. I want to capture these colors nicely, but I also do want to still have the focus on the face area of the fish a fair bit. And some of these colors I feel like are coming on a little bit darker than they look in the photo. That's okay. We'll just see how it turns out. You never know. That's the part of the risk of painting, especially painting live, you don't really know how it's going to turn out. Um, but I'm going to persist with it and try to make it into something nice. I feel like it's a little bit more complicated than what I was working on last night with the human eye that I was trying to, or that I was painting last night in the live stream. Bit more complicated, bit more nuanced, obviously a lot more shapes and details. Well, the eye was pretty complex. I just took my time, did my best with it, and I think it turned out pretty nice in the end. So that like funny shape there. There's definitely some little shiny, light shiny bits on the tail. There's some darker areas here and here. So something I'm training myself to do when I'm painting, well, trying to train myself to do anyway, is to not try and draw or paint the the exact thing that I'm seeing, you know, being a fish. I'm not trying to paint a fish. I'm trying to look at the patches of the shapes of color so I can, and I'm just filling that in. That's what I'm trying to do, is fill in the blocks of color as they appear in the photograph. So rather than just straight up, okay, it's a fish, I have to paint a fish, I'm trying to paint a fish. I'm trying to paint the blocks of color that I see in the photo. What am I missing down here? What's this area? The fin. Sort of grey blue. No, and that, you know, it looks like a darn mess to start out with. But, you know, that's okay. You gotta start somewhere. You gotta start with something. It's going to be a lot of refining. How big? Like, I really make this reference really huge. And I'll focus in on certain areas, I guess. There's this like bit of colour here. There's kind of like a lighter bit here. I obviously did not grab the right colour. Let's try again. There we go. And this might be where I start coming in with the oil pastel or pastel tool rather than the oil brush that I'm using right now, because the oil brush is really good for blocking in larger pieces of color. Well, that's how I feel about it anyway. But once you start trying to zero in on some finer details, I find it's a little bit harder with the oil brush, just because of the way the color goes down, basically, more than anything. This is further back. This is closer together. Sketch might have been helpful in the end. There's this sort of like big gill shape here. A smaller one here. Yeah, these shapes are kind of confusing. There's a lot going on up here. I'm trying to get these bits. There's a very, very bright white here, like right behind the eye of the fish, and it kind of carries here a little bit as well. And then these colors, and then yeah, this pink shape I guess needs to be further back. Let's figure that out. And then this would be sort of more here. Definitely didn't grab the color that I was after, I don't think. Yeah, something more like that. No, you're back here somewhere. which puts this sort of here. It's very doing my best to get the colors where they look like they go, but man, it's tricky. There's this bright bit here, bright like plate here, and then there's the dark patch. Yeah, that's better. And then there's this dark patch, and then there's the pink color. It's a bit better. So yeah, focusing on certain areas can kind of help. So obviously there's so you could get lost in the how much detail there is just on this one little fish. You can definitely kind of just make out some of his mouth. Yeah, okay, I'm going to switch over to pastel, the pastel tool, medium pastel here instead now. Start trying to get in some finer details. How does his mouth go? Something like that. And the thing that bugs me tiny bit about the pastel is when you draw a line, you get this harder part at the end where you start. You can see here it's darker where the line starts. That's okay, not the end of the world. Okay, let's start focusing in on some of these little details. So there's like this little bit of pinky color up here on the top of the eye. There's a darker patch behind the eye here. What else is going on? There's like this blue right about here. The eye is extremely dark. And then there's this one little, actually there's two highlights. This one main highlight here, and then a smaller, more subtle one kind of there. Around the edge, again, very difficult, very tricky. There's like a kind of like a lighter section and then a darker section. Pretty tricky. I don't want to get bogged down on really fine details yet. I want to keep moving around and trying to patch in the, I kind of like want to work from large to small. Oh, Gigi's barking at something. My neighbors are pretty noisy, unfortunately. On one side, anyway. Gigi, stop, please. I'm gonna just calm her down. Give me 2 seconds. Alright, hopefully she'll calm down. Can't say I didn't try. Alright, where is this? This is the fan, which I feel like is in a pretty good roughly patched in a pretty good location. So we've got kind of these. These are going to be really interesting to capture because they're kind of really, how do you describe that? Iridescent. It's a really beautiful iridescent shimmer that the fish has got going on. I feel like it's not an easy thing to emulate. I feel like actually the texture of the crayon, what's it called, the pastel, might actually work in my favor, trying to create that iridescent shimmer look. Let's see, and the fish has got kind of like these, sorry, a bit wide. These, it's kind of got a crisscrossing effect that occurs because of its scales. And then there's this one bit where the shimmer does that for some reason. Probably just the lighting. Not sure if I can capture that blue quite how it appears, but let's see. Honestly, they're kind of occurring in diamonds, but I'm just gonna brush in some of this blue. Oh good, get out of here for a second. Let's find this other blue. There we go. That's kind of along here. Actually, it's not. It's only kind of here. Most of it's here. Try to blend that in a little bit. And then, yeah, there's the big sort of white. Well, it's not white, it's off-white. It's actually kind of a pale green. How far down does that go? Not very. It's mostly happening here. Alright. Nice pinky brown happening down here. And there are so many colors going on here. It's okay. I'm just going to have to go little bit by little bit and fill it out, get it to be the right color. Eventually I'll get to a point where most of it's got the color it needs. Might just take a while. I'm just gonna jump this around. Now I feel like there's quite a bit of yellow. Make this smaller still. And because unfortunately I haven't drawn fish, well, I guess this fish in particular, this like herring type of fish, I've not drawn these as frequently as I've drawn something like a human eye. Frequently as many times, I should say. Gigi, please no. So I don't have the instinctive familiarity that I have with something like a human eye, which, not only have I drawn that lots of times, but I'm also just, it's something you see a lot. Obviously, you see other people a lot. It's much more familiar subject matter. It's not like most of us probably look at fish every single day, right? So it's slightly less familiar subject matter. But that's part of one of the many things that's really interesting about doing art anyway, is because you tend to look at all sorts of different subject matter, all sorts of different interesting, I don't know, landscapes, creatures, people, whatever it is you look at, but lots of variety. And you look at it closely too. You're really sort of studying it in a way, trying to understand it and look really close. So that's just the nature of what you've got to do when you're trying to paint something. Let's get rid of this. We really don't need this blue to be here. Where's my eraser? That was too much, wasn't it? What's the shape? The shape is actually fairly smooth and fairly rounded at the end. Fix that up. And this one kind of goes like that, and then it kind of gets a bit finer at the end. Something like that, maybe. And then this bit goes something like that. Alright, zoom out on this. Let's scrunch this down for 1 second a little bit and move it. I mean, the tail is getting somewhere. It is still a long ways off. This eye, I think, is too big. Maybe? Let's refine the shape of this a little bit. I feel like that's coming down a little bit too far. That needs to slope up a bit more. What else? This is all very smooth along here. And along here, very smooth. And then the fin, the little dorsal fin, kind of comes at this kind of shape. There we go. And I feel like the belly comes down. The belly almost runs a bit more flat and then goes up. Right around where this pink kind of color is here. What did I do? I'm out of force of habit. I pressed B on the keyboard for brush, which is a FireAlpaca shortcut. Not so useful, apparently, in ArtRage. So let's bring the belly down a little bit, and then it kind of just goes up a bit here, like that. And now I've got this blue in here. There we go. Let's try to define this fin a little bit more. So here, and then it's like a really dark color up here somewhere. There it is. And this is where it like joins to the body, and also it runs out like this for some reason. I can't quite tell anatomically exactly what's going on there. Why there's this piece coming out down here. But that's okay. Just gonna paint in the shape that I see. Trust the process. I think I did it again with the keyboard shortcut. Probably take me a while to get out of that habit when I'm using ArtRage. I've been using FireAlpaca for 6 years as my main digital illustrating program, so gonna have some habits. It doesn't really matter. No harm done, right? Oh, hello. Hi, chat. Nugget. Oh, I'm sorry, Nugget. Hi, also to, is it Vucky? Vucky ABX? A very fish-like fish. Thanks very much. I'm sorry about the timing, Nugget. I'm really sorry. I'll be streaming again in the week. I was actually hoping to post a rough schedule of when I'm going to be streaming so that, yeah, people can have a bit of an idea. But yeah, this is just the time that worked out for today. I wouldn't actually usually stream on weekends. It's just going to be a sometimes kind of thing. Thanks very much, Vucky. So I've said it correctly. Cool. Thanks. Thanks for letting me know the fish is looking fishy. That's the best compliment you can get for a fish, I think. I'm sorry about the timing, Nugget. Don't stay up though. I mean, go get some proper rest. And I'll hopefully, yeah, no worries. Look, hopefully I'll catch you in the week. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi though. Appreciate it. All right. How are you doing? How are you doing, Vucky? How's everything with you? Bye, Nugget. Catch you next time. Have a good sleep. Alright, well, there we go. We had a couple of hellos in the chat today. That's awesome. I always love it when people come and say hi. It's the best. Just having a bit of company while you're drawing. Good, you guess. Oh, that sounds okay. Is it, I'm assuming it must be, because it's Sunday for me. Obviously, it could be different depending on where you are around in the world. But have you been having an alright kind of weekend? Mine's been a bit wild, to be honest. A bit chaotic, if I'm being very, very honest. Got off to a little bit of a rough start my weekend. Nothing too bad though. I'm not complaining. Ah, you're trying to make a sales pitch. Used razor? Like an actual, literal, like a razor blade? Or like a razor? Because I know there's products, there's a brand called Razor that do like computer uh, accessories. That's the word I'm looking for. Nothing catastrophic. Well, that's good to hear. No one needs catastrophe on their weekend, do they? Alright, let's keep these patterns. Thankfully, the patterns on this fish are kind of just crisscrossy, like this kind of pattern, but that's too. Old safety razor. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how to pitch that. Not sure how to pitch that myself. Um, I guess I wouldn't consider myself to be an amazing salesperson. But I hope you have success with it, that's for sure. You could try, I don't know if you've got things in your area like rough trade kind of services, like through your, like something on Facebook or whatever. That can be a really handy place to sell secondhand stuff, like local trade groups or even Facebook marketplace is pretty good. I've sold a few bits and pieces through that. If eBay doesn't quite work out for you, that's probably the only thing I can really suggest. That's the extent of my experience with that kind of thing. My go-to would be Facebook Marketplace nowadays. That's where I tend to look for stuff, and that's where I've sold stuff. So hopefully that's a tiny bit helpful. Alright. I'm gonna keep working my way. This bit's kind of not too bad. Like, it's interesting. I'm not sure if it's entirely accurate, but I'm gonna keep trying to get these little shines looking cool. Looking like what they look like. This one's very bright. Even color picking from this is tricky because of how many colors there are in one tiny little spot. It's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky. That's okay. Just little bit by little bit. We'll work our way through. Man, shame I missed Nugget. Nugget's joined for a few of my previous live streams, and they are very good company. There's another person who's been on a few times, but I haven't seen them recently. Maybe later in the week we'll manage to catch up. That would be nice. See how it goes. That's sort of part of the fun of live streaming. It's like anyone could show up and say hi. So far, I don't have all that much of an audience, but I'm hoping to build up little by little, get more people engaged, have more people to chat to. I did meet Nugget streaming. Do you know them at all, or? I think Nugget joined me on the first time I ever did a live stream. And yeah, Nugget does drawing illustration as well. So we both just kind of draw away. Give each other a little bit of company, I suppose. Since drawing can be a bit lonely. So I believe Nugget has subscribed and now. Oh no, that's okay. You don't know them. That's all good. Yeah, I didn't know them until recently. Just through streaming. That's how we met. But I'm pretty sure Nugget is subscribed now to my channel, and they try to jump in whenever I do live streaming, which is great. It's really cool to see the same people pop up over and over just to hang out and stuff. It's really good. I love it. What shape is here? There's like this. There we go. Something like that. This is seriously complicated. Somehow I feel like it's even more challenging than the painting from yesterday, which is also fairly complicated. This is maybe a level up from that, even. Feels like it. There's just so much going on. So many colors. Whereabouts in the world are you, Vucky, if you don't mind sharing? You don't have to be specific, obviously. I'm based in Australia myself. And it is 2:30 in the afternoon, 2:30 in the afternoon where I am. Hoping to be streaming for at least a couple more hours. If you care to hang around, if you'd like, you're most welcome. Alright, what's this? Let's just try to refine the shape of this shimmering part up here. So let's grab the very dark color and try to make the shape a bit more accurate. Southeast USA, very cool. Very cool. I've never been to the United States, but I would kind of like to take a trip there one day, I think. Really interested. I think Australia and the USA have a fair bit in common. I feel like anyway. I could be so wrong about that, having never been to the USA. But I feel like it would be a really interesting place to visit. I'm kind of particularly interested in just sort of places that have a lot of natural beauty, and I hear that the redwoods are very beautiful. I'm not sure if that's anywhere near where you live, near where you live, I mean to say, but because I'm not super familiar with the layout of the US either. I'm just admitting ignorance here. But I'll learn, especially if I take a trip over there. I think there's no better way to familiarize yourself with a country and, you know, learn more about it than to just go there and have a visit. So yeah, I'd love to do that one day. It's on my list of places to go. But I also like to get to Canada one day, New Zealand, another trip to Japan. There's a bunch of places I'd really like to go. Have you ever visited Australia by any chance? There's a lot of nice places to check out here, especially when it comes to like natural places. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Nature. We've got lots of learn before you book the tickets. It's okay. Yeah. Well, I'll figure out where I'm going before I buy tickets. That's for sure. You're right about that. Thankfully, my partner has been once before, so at least I'll have someone that's got a little bit of an idea of how things how things work. You're right though. Know where I'm going before I go. Solid advice. Never been to Australia? Yeah, I wonder how many people really travel here. I think the main reason people travel to Australia is I think we're pretty well known for our nice beaches and stuff. Obviously, we've got some cool outback areas and stuff. I don't know what we're best known for. I feel like a lot of the time we're kind of overlooked. Um, Most people don't know much about Australia. Oh, why is it so difficult right now? Alright, let's see. These shapes are very difficult. I feel like with this painting, I'm gonna struggle with the body of this thing the most. Because again, so much going on. There's sort of these dark lines running right the way down. So I'll try to get them in. Is that the right angle? Maybe it's too sharp. Something like this. Kind of changes a little bit as it goes further back. Well, have you ever travelled overseas at all, Bucky? Visited any countries outside the US? I haven't been to many myself, just a couple. Definitely would love to travel some more though, especially now, obviously COVID had us all grounded for a pretty long time. It'd be great to get out and go do some more exploring. Outback, spiders, and 5 major cities. I guess that's pretty accurate. Don't have a passport. Ah, that's fair. Well, who knows? Maybe one day. Where does this happen? Yeah, I'd say that perception of Australia is probably not too far off. We don't have that many. I mean, my experience is really there's not that many spiders, at least where I live anyway. I think you get out into the more tropical areas, and there's definitely a bit more spider activity. Or I suppose into more country areas. Like I live in a more sort of a suburban area, so really not that many spiders. There are some good side. We do get some good sized spiders though in this country, that's for sure. We get the huntsmans and stuff like that. Although I don't see them nearly as much as I did when I was a kid, which to me is, slightly concerning. Where did all the spiders go? They're quite harmless as well. A little bit intimidating because, you know, they're a decent size critter. I'll bring an image of them up real quick. Most people have probably seen them, but maybe not. Huntsman spider, Australia. Yeah, there they are. What about compared to someone's hand? Yeah, there's one. So they're a pretty big spider. The huntsman spider from Australia. Yeah. They're pretty big. I haven't seen one quite that big myself. I don't know if that's a... Oh, that's a golden huntsman. Okay, fair enough. I don't think I've seen a golden huntsman. Yeah, we get like this one. I feel like this looks like the ones I see the most on trees and stuff. And sure, it's like an intimidating looking creature, but they're really harmless. Like I've had so many encounters with huntsmans over the course of my life, and they've never done anything to hurt me. When they get scared or intimidated, they kind of like lift their arms up and like wave at you, trying to get you to like leave them alone because they're afraid. But yeah, really nothing to be worried about. It's a big spider, but it's not a dangerous spider. I wouldn't worry about it. Those are probably the most intimidating ones that we have, really. I'm trying to figure out where this mark is. Here-ish. Also, that's nowhere near dark enough. There we go. It's not that strange. You know what? There's all sorts of illegal animal trades that happen all over the world, and huntsmen's may well be one of them. Can't say that I'm uh, aware of it myself. If there's an illegal trade in huntsman spiders, but there definitely is for certain animals like snakes. Like we have a lot of reptiles, lizards and snakes in Australia. Probably fairly well known for that as well. I believe there's issues in that trade with smuggling tarantulas and scorpions. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I mean I had a tiny little, well, it wasn't tiny, but like a fairly small little python when I was younger. Growing up, it was one of my like pets, I suppose. Um, so yeah, they are like a little bit popular. Snakes and reptiles are a fairly popular pet to have in this country. But yeah, I think there is a bit of a problem with people smuggling reptiles, and also we have lots of really beautiful birds, especially little like budgies and finches and stuff like that. Um, and I believe there's a bit of a trade, like an illegal sort of smuggling trade with those animals as well. Spiders, I'm not sure. I haven't looked into that. Um, so yeah, possibly. I'll say possibly, because people are always trying to bloody nick animals from countries and move them around and sell them. It's not great. It's cool that you know people that have interesting animal. Children's python, yeah. It's just a name. So I think it was named after the guy that documented the species in Australia. His name was something or other Children, so his last name was Children's, hence the name Children's python. They're uh, just a small python, native to I think the northeast of the country. Completely harmless. They only get sort of like a few feet long, at full size, and not very thick either. So they're really not going to do much damage to anyone or anything. Harmless little snake, not venomous at all, of course, because it's a python. Yeah, she was a lovely little python to have. Very like docile nature. Yeah, she was nice. I had her for a lot of years. Even my mother, who's sort of afraid of reptiles in general, she doesn't like snakes or lizards or spiders or anything. She's a bit I don't know, bit of a sissy in that regard, I suppose. But even she like really warmed up to the little python that I had, and ended up holding her and really liking her as well, because she was just docile and nice, never hurt anyone. Yeah, she was a cool pet to have. Unconventional maybe, but I was one of those kids that really, I'm still am one of those people that really loves animals. And here I am painting a fish, so really easy to breed budgies. I think it is. I think you're right. I think it's not necessarily too difficult to do. There could just be some, particularly I'm going to say in the outback of Australia, that are a bit more, maybe rare. They only sort of occur here. In terms of, yeah, like smuggling or anything. I've never researched it. It was just sort of a bit of a guess. I think budgies might have come from Australia though. Originally, I think they're sort of native to this country. I guess I can do a very quick search. Let's have a look. What would I do? Like animal smuggling? Animal smuggling issues. Blah 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 blah. There is definitely, yeah, there we go. That looks like maybe the nose of a blue-tongued lizard or something. Oh my god, they've hidden it like inside uh, some sort of electrical device. So that's wild. So they've like wrapped it up in a sock or something and put it inside like some sort of DVD player. It says it was wild. Yeah, it's a little bluey. Looks like maybe this says it's a blotched blue tongue lizard. So we've got different types of blue tongues with different colorings and different sizes depending on where in the country, like from the south up to the north, you find them. Um, and that looks like a shingleback. Yep, we've got shinglebacks as well. Oh, this is hot. Oh, I don't want to. Oh, I don't want to read about this. It's kind of like a bit heartbreaking. And birds. Here we go. Colorful feathers and personalities. Native birds. Yeah, so the rainbow lorikeet apparently is one. The eclectus parrot, which I'm not familiar with, this probably is up in the tropics. The sulfur-crested cocky. The rosella. There you go. So my guessing was kind of spot on. The reptiles and some of our more distinctive birds are probably the main illegal trade. So maybe not budgies, but we've got lots of parrots, lots of rosellas, lots of really brightly coloured birds. Yeah. So there you go. It's a bit upsetting to look into that. I don't. Really upsetting. Think of those poor animals into little containers like that for like how long? Potentially days. Probably days. Poor things. I don't like that at all. But yeah, there you go. There's spiders might be in there too. That article seemed to be a bit, brief. It wasn't listing everything. But some spiders could potentially be an issue too, because I know that we get some very large, brightly coloured spiders up in the tropics. There's one called, what's a more pleasant topic? Yeah. Okay. Oh, fair call. Good call. I'm a sensitive little bean. More pleasant topic. If you think of something, let me know. What about what about been watching any? Oh, do you play video games or fancy watching any particular types of shows? Like, I'm really into animated shows, and I also play some video games. That's always a fun, easy topic to talk about. Most recently, I'm trying to think what I've been playing recently. Man, this might be a little bit. I'm always a little bit embarrassed to confess that I play Minecraft, because some people sort of get a bit judgy when you say you you play Minecraft for some reason. I don't know. It's a really really fun game. I've played it for such a long time, ever since shivers. Did I start in alpha or beta? Like pre release. I've played so for a very long time. Not really for both. Well, what's your favorite kind of pastime? Like, what do you like to do in your downtime? Do you like to like read, or is there like a sport or sports that you like to play or anything like that? What's your go-to thing for like for fun? Or is it just like browsing the internet, talking to random Aussies? It's really cool meeting people randomly. I like it. It's fun. I'm trying to think what other past. I love gardening as well. Gardening's a big one for me. I love growing veggies. You do gardening sometimes, or browsing the internet to meet new people? Sorry, I kind of jumped over a couple of topics a bit quick there, didn't I? You watch random people on the internet. Oh yeah, that's cool. It's really interesting to get that kind of just random insight into different people around the world. Like a few of the channels I follow on YouTube are just people based in different countries. It's like a couple from Korea and things like that. It's just cool to get a bit of insight into other people's culture and other people's way of life. I mean, that's why I kind of enjoy it anyway. I think every person on the planet ever is guilty of killing at least one plant. You're not alone. Um, Even though I love gardening and love plants, look, I've killed plenty as well. I could potentially also be banned from gardening. But I don't do too bad with the vegetables. Just nice to be able to go out and just grab something nice and fresh out of the garden. I was actually studying horticulture for a little bit, but the course got kind of a bit overwhelming for me, like much more uh, write-ups and assignments than I had kind of anticipated, and I kind of had to stop halfway through and just defer for a little bit, catch my breath, and I'll pick it up later on, which was a little bit sad because I was pretty familiar with most of the content, having done lots of, you know, gardening and growing plants for a long time already. I already kind of like was very familiar with most of the content, so I'm kind of disappointed that I couldn't make it through all the way in the first go, but it is what it is. Not going to beat myself up about it too bad. I really want to do art as like my main. I want to make it my career, my job, whatever. I kind of want to work from home and yeah, open up an online shop and do things like this, live streaming, all sorts of different live streaming. I'd like to also do some where I sort of get out, go different places, and go look for some interesting, interesting places to paint or paint from, like sort of going out looking for inspiration, I guess you'd say, ideas, inspiration, whatever. So I've got lots of plans and lots of ideas, and I'll just keep working towards it. If one thing doesn't work out, you just got to keep trying other stuff, I suppose. Do your best. You think I could make it as a concept artist? Well, that's very kind of you to say. Thank you. I've done a tiny bit of work in animation in the past, but if you've ever had any hands-on with doing animation, it's a tough line of work. It's really intense. Like it's very, very, very hard work. I do want to do still a little bit again, like probably more on a personal level. Little animation projects. I just got to sort out the software for doing that. That's on the cards for the future as well. Little animation projects. I'd love to be a concept artist. Now you mention that, let's zoom out on this fish and see what we got going on. Definitely need to adjust some of the colors. I'll work zoomed out for a little bit. Alright, let's see. Here there is blue. Let's see. Here there is more dark grey. What would I want to animate? Probably just little character things. And like maybe some loops, like short loops. Nothing super intense like full length movies or episodes or anything like that. Just kind of like smaller projects that are a bit more manageable. Maybe work on it for a week or something and then move on to something else. I'll have to look that up. Oh, hi, Suika. Hello. What is bald Kaguya Fumo? Let's. Am I gonna regret like googling that if I look that up? Am I gonna have deep regrets? Alright, let me Google it, alright. If something terrible comes up though, I'm gonna cry. Bold Kaguya Fumo. Yeah, from what is it? Toho. Let's have a look. Images. Alright, there's not all that much that comes up. Let's just try Kaguya Fumo. Okay. Totally not familiar with this character, I don't think. I will have to learn. Let's see. So they're from an anime called Toho. Is that right? Hmm. Oh, it's a shoot 'em up video game series. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I see. So it doesn't have a series associated with it, it's just a video game currently. Alright. That's interesting, I'll have to look into that. Haven't heard of it before. Thanks for telling me about it. I'll suss it out. And who knows, maybe I will animate them one day. We'll have to see. First and foremost, before I animate anything, I'm gonna have to sort out some animation software. Currently, I don't think I have anything. I learned how to animate in Flash a long time ago. Can still do it. But I'd like to get something, Flash has a very particular look to it, if you know what I mean. Like you can tell when something's made in Flash. Um, so I'd like to get software that allows for a little bit more, I don't know how to say, stylistic effects, like not that really flashy looking Adobe Flash, look that so many animations back in the day had. Not my favorite aesthetic, to be honest. Animate her dancing. All right, I'll keep it in mind. I'll put it on my list of suggestions that I've got for animation ideas. Why bald? Is she bald in the game? Is that a thing? I'm very curious. Oh, this is going to be a bit painful. I think we'll do this with a 1%. We'll just cut that in there a bit. That'll do. Dang, please. Well, if I can get around to that at some, like, I'm not going to do it right now, right today, but I'm going to sort myself out some animation software, and that will be something I'll be starting to do. So I'll keep that one in mind for you, I promise. Even if it's just a tiny little dance, I'll try to do it for you. Well, you know what? If you want to commission, if you want to do an official commission, like, I am completely cool with that. I'll absolutely do a little animation of a cute little character dancing for $200. Not gonna say no to that. I definitely can't do it like instantaneously though, so I don't have the software yet. So it's kind of that's a future project, that one. I was looking into software. It's called like TV Paint, but it's a little bit expensive. Probably going to require some saving up to be able to get it. So for now, just gonna stick to illustrations. I've got to start trying to make some money from art stuff if it's gonna be, you know, a viable career option for me. I don't want to have to focus on money. I don't want drawing and painting and illustrating and all that sort of stuff which I love to do. I don't really want it to be the focus to be money, but that's just the reality of life, isn't it? You know, got to pay rent, got to pay bills. So I have to try to make this work. I'm kind of setting myself kind of a timeline of, can I make this work? Can I start earning even just a bit of income from it? Otherwise, I'm gonna have to kind of just get like a day job, a regular job. I'm gonna give this my best, doing art my best shot, that's for sure. That's what I want to do. Sell your soul. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Bucky. I could just sell my soul. That's what so many people seem to have to do, isn't it? Just to get by. Sell your soul to the corporations. Oh yeah, this was working. This is working. Do. That kind of looks like a shimmer, doesn't it? What art is always in demand by a certain group of people? Is this a riddle? Um, I've asked myself that question as well, actually. Like, you know, because you have to think about that kind of thing. You have to say, well, what's popular? What's going to sell? What do people want? Yeah, Suika, what's up? I feel like plants and nature is always a really popular one, right? Plants, nature, not safe for work, furry art. You know what? You're probably spot on. You're probably absolutely spot on. And you know what? Whether I should be admitting this on a live stream or not, you want your FUMO. I appreciate that, my friend, but I don't have any animating software at the moment. So I'm afraid I can't do it just yet. That the artist equivalent of making a deal with the devil. You're not wrong. Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing, like everybody kind of has to sacrifice to some extent to make things work, right? Like if I was doing that, at least I'd be doing art. Um, you know, oof, I don't know. I've wondered that myself. It's the thought has crossed my mind. Thanks for moderating there, Vaki. Come back in 4 to 6 months. I can't do it now, mate. Like, I haven't got any animating software right now. Like, I've got nothing to make an animation in. It's like just a future plan. It's something I'm gonna do in future. I can't do it right now. Like right this second. Ain't no way. Unless you want to buy the software for me. Like, go nuts. I'll send you a link. Here you go. Do 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 do. I think this is the website. Yeah. Looks nice, hey? I would really love to get this software. Tain't cheap though. But you can make some beautiful stuff with it. I mean, look at this. It's gorgeous. Lovely. Looks like they've updated their website and updated the sort of like packages they've got. Blah, 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 blah. PayPal in 4. Let's just read more about that. 4 installments. Hooray! Mm-hmm. Where's the price? Where's the price? No, I don't want to go to your Instagram, for the love of God. Where's your shop? Buy. Here we go. Let's see. You have to ask for a quote. They don't show the price anymore, and I know why, because it's expensive. Artists and animators. Select a country. I'm in Australia. Am I blind, or is that just... Oh, it's Europe. Okay, fine. America, Asia. I think I count as Asia. Oh, no, maybe not. Oceania. There we go. You're not going to show me in US dollars? I mean, Australian dollars? Like, what's the point of me putting in my... country if you're not going to tell me? Oh, here it is. There you go. It's over 2,000 Australian dollars. So, my friend, Suika, if you'd fancy to buy me this this animation software, there you go. Paste the link. Buy this for me. There we go. It's only $2,000. No problem. I know, expensive, huh? If that's what you're saying. JC Superstar. I know it's expensive software. It's very expensive. I mean, you think about what Photoshop used to cost to buy straight out back in the day. Nowadays, it's all like a monthly subscription thing, which is still not cheap, mind you. But Photoshop used to be somewhere in the regions of like 5,000, 5.5. Maybe it was more. Maybe it was like $7,000 to buy Photoshop, like back in the day. So yeah, these software can be very, very, very expensive, like prohibitively expensive, unfortunately. Um, Time to email the Blender devs. Oh my God, Suika, chill out, my friend. Oh my gosh. Some people, hey? I suppose that's part of live streaming as well. Get people jumping in and just carrying on, demanding animations. If you can't do it yourself, you shouldn't demand it from other people either. Manners. Have some manners. Also, I'm like just too chill to be bothered by such things, so, you know, pitch a fit all you like. My friend, don't bother me. Also, that kind of attitude's just not going to help you out, you know. It's not going to make people want to do stuff for you. It's just going to make people tell you to calm down and maybe try elsewhere. That's all you're going to achieve with that kind of attitude. Besides, I'm painting a fish, you know? Like, I'm busy painting a fish right now. It's very important business. I got stuff on. Fish. It's very difficult too. Way more difficult than that eye, I'm going to say, that I was painting yesterday. What happens here? It kind of goes all the way through along after this line. It kind of goes all the way through along here. Like that. Alright, I mean, before we were... Time to email the Blender devs. I know how to use Blender, actually. Oh, a little bit. I got way into it for a while. Okay, Suika. The fish never learned how famous it will become. Oh man. Let's just... What should we do? Report? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, this... Can you pick more than one? That'll do. Okay. Sorry, Suka, your attitude is bad. You're out, my friend. I'm putting you in a timeout. You gotta learn some manners. The fish. I mean, you know, it's not very famous, right? I mean... But yeah. It's achieving a tiny bit of fame. Bucky, do you know how to, like, moderate the chat a little bit? Like, I don't have that many options. I've only kind of got, like, report or put them in timeout. Hide user on this channel. Does that help? I don't know. Can you just remove someone from chat if they're being a real pain in the bum? Being real rude? Unfortunately, I don't know, because I'm still terribly new to this, to all of this. I don't want to put up with that kind of nonsense. People start calling names and stuff, talking nonsense about hacking your bank account. Jeez Louise, I don't need that. Never streamed. You never streamed, so you're in the dark. Yeah, I have streamed and I'm in the dark. That's alright. I guess I'll have to look into that a little bit. That's really the first problematic sort of attitude of experience so far. Not that bad. But, you know, I don't have time for that nonsense. Can't be bothered with that. Put them in a timeout. Don't know what that means. It seems like there's no option to just sort of like boot them completely, just like block them. Or at least not immediately through here anyway. Where are they? They're in the, yeah. You can report them, you can put them in timeout, and you can hide them on the channel. Maybe that's the equivalent of blocking them. We'll see what happens if they come back and they start yelling again. I guess I'll do that. don't need no drama. No drama. I don't want no drama. I'm a really quiet kind of person, you know? Like, I'm just here painting a fish. What do I need someone yelling and screaming about some bloody character from a game? Kind of weird too. I mean, if, you know, obviously they're just talking nonsense and stirring up trouble, but they could go to something like, what are those websites? Like Fiverr, and there's a bunch of other ones, and just commission someone to do that. Having said that, I've watched a few YouTube videos where people, as an experiment, like they commission people on those websites. I think Fiverr's the main one that they used, and it's a bit sketchy, to say the least. Like, sometimes they don't get what they asked for. Sometimes they get back something that's like terrible quality. It's just like literally clip art that's been tweened. It's like just like sliding around on the screen. It looks like absolute rubbish, you know, and they've paid for it. And I don't know if there's really much you can do once you've paid for it. So you can get really easily ripped off on those sites. So maybe that's not the best suggestion. I considered I was considering signing up for Fiverr. Fiverr? Yeah, Fiverr. Seeing if I could get some sort of like freelance commission work through there. Alright, now where is this other girl? Here. 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 Yes. And under the eye here. Too dark maybe. Boop. This fish, yeah. YouTube famous. Man, it's wild that you don't realize like just how much is going on detail wise with a thing until you sit down and try to draw it. Pretty crazy. Well, that was my... Oh, my phone's buzzing away. I think it was buzzing earlier too, and I was just kind of ignoring it. Ah, it's cool. There ain't anything important. Nothing important. Alright. Let's zoom out on this fish a little bit and see what it's looking like. Compare it to this. I'm gonna do that with the mouth. Oh my god, okay. I'll do it from the top. Hey, Suika. You're back from your little timeout. Dude, come on. Don't yell and scream and like threaten silly things at people. It's not cool. I'm happy to have you here in the chat. Um but come on. Don't be yelling and carrying on and throwing around silly threats like that, man. It's not cool. It's not necessary. Um if you're super desperate keen for your to have your little animation thing done, like just commission someone to do it. You know, natural the more complex it becomes, where something man-made becomes simpler. Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's true. Nature is really, really, really interesting. Like, look at this. I've been staring at this fish for how many hours? I don't know. And it's almost infinitely detailed. You can just keep going. It's wild. It's crazy. It's cool though. It's enjoyable. Yeah, Suika, dude, like, I want to help you out, but I kind of can't at the moment. That's the truth of it. So if you're really keen for that animation, just go commission someone, like, um, you know, jump on DeviantArt or Fiverr or one of those other sites and just commission someone to do it for you. Someone will do it for you. I'm probably not the best person right now to ask for that. I don't have the software, etc., etc. So in the future sometime, sure, I'd like to do some animating stuff, but not right now. Not just yet. Sorry about that. Alright. Yeah, you're right about the nature versus man-made thing. I haven't heard that quote before, but I'm giving it a bit of a thought, like think now. I think you're right. The more you look at a natural thing, you can just see so many layers of color and detail and complexity and everything. It's cool. Alright, I kind of want to brush in some like warm orange kind of around this, and I want it on a... I'll try a color dodge. Whoa, now that was very strong. Looks good though. Alright, let's try some blue as well. This is a bit cheeky. This is just... Hey, I'm using the tools that are available to me. Oh, for the love of God, Suika. You don't learn, huh? I'm not gonna be offended by anything you say. I'm not a child. I don't care how much you yell and scream and tanty. Oh, good God. You're just gonna get yourself booted out of the chat. That's all you're gonna achieve. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I've got a little bit of talent, hey. Talentless is a bit far. That's just an empty insult for the sake of trying to trigger someone. I got a little bit of skill, a little bit of talent. I don't know, like, does anyone think that approach would work as well? Like, let's just like yell insults at someone until they do what you want. Like, does anyone think that works? Because it doesn't work. That's not the way to try to like convince someone to do you a favor. Just like call them horrible names. Like, do you think that I'm gonna like help you out when you do that? Oh, I don't think so. Funny. Funny. You know, usually you want someone to do you a bit of a favor. You kind of try to be nice about it. Not old Suika. Ah, Gigi. My dog's decided to bark. Come on, come back inside, please. I think these are teeth. I'm interpreting those as little underbite, little stick outy teeth. Kind of cute. Um, like the shapes are a bit off, but I kind of don't mind. I kind of don't want it to be like an exact replica of the photo. I'm fine if it's a bit. Your go-to is manipulation through normalcy. Nice. That's a good strategy. Yeah, they don't even know it's happening, the manipulation, because everything is just as it always is. Is that your strategy? That's what came to mind anyway when you said through normalcy. Just like, I'll just do almost nothing and, you know, they won't even know that it's happening. Hilarious. Some people are oh so funny. I think my dog's just wandered out the front door. Oh my goodness. Has she? I better go check. Oh, for the love of Pete. I'll be right back. I think my dog's just like taking herself for a walk. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Vermin on God's green earth. Are you talking about dogs? Because I kind of think that like a large portion of people would disagree with that, but fair enough, each to their own. You're welcome to think that. I personally am not that keen on cats, which I think is a pretty unpopular opinion. But each to their own. That doesn't really matter to me. You don't like dogs? That's fine. I love dogs. Especially my dog. She's a very good dog. Bit cheeky. But she's been my mate for my best little buddy for over 13 years, so yeah. My girl. I'm just giving her some pets right now. Alright. I better get back to the drawing. I guess she got a little bit bored and decided to just go out the front and sniff around in the garden a little bit. I can't let her go out on her own though because, among other things, unfortunately, people let their cats just run amok all hours of the day and night, and they come and use the garden as a toilet. And so there is cat poop out there. And if you know anything about dogs, unfortunately, they will try to eat it, which is disgusting. And then she'll get a sick tummy, etc., etc. So, that's one of the many reasons I'm not that keen on cats, personally. What's happening here? Where's vermin? I feel like wasps are objectively... Yeah, wasps are a bit mean, aren't they? Make a suit out of your insides. Oh my god, Suka. Oh man. Amusing. A suit out of my insides. Gigi! She's going out again. Back inside. Sorry if that broke your eardrums, guys. Back inside, back inside, back inside. A suit out of my insides, eh? It's cool, it's cool. I mean, you can try. You can give it your best shot. Ah, alright, back to fish. Back to fish, back to fish. What's next? I feel like I'm lacking some details down in this area. Wasps, yeah. Wasps are... Depends. Depends on the wasp. European wasps, I don't think they're really good for anything, to be honest. They're an introduced species in this country. Get out the snake. Yeah, cool. Oh man. Yeah, there are some introduced wasps in this country, and they're a pain in the bum. They don't really do anything except for bully other insects and give you a nasty sting. Of course, we've got plenty of little native wasps that do great work kill like the predate other pest insects in the garden, like aphids and stuff, so they are more than welcome. So not every wasp is a bad wasp, I guess is basically what I'm trying to say. But yeah. You know what? I don't know if I've... No, I have been stung by a wasp. I absolutely have. Not fun. I've been stung by bees far more times though. And it's kind of bad now. The last time I got stung by a bee, I had a pretty intense reaction to it. I swole up really, really, really bad. Thankfully, it was only on my foot, but I feel like I've got to be a lot more careful now. I don't think I can get stung anymore, or if I do, I'm gonna have to like see a doctor or something, because it's sort of getting worse every time I get stung, which I think is a thing that can happen. Your body's just like, this has happened too many times. Next time, we're just gonna start dying. So I'm gonna have to be a lot more careful now that spring is getting closer. Spring and summer. No more bee stings for me, hopefully. All right, let's focus in on this area a little bit. See if we can... I feel like the shapes are not too bad. This one's too big though, and it needs to go a bit more like that. There we go. This one's also probably a bit too big. There we go. Getting somewhere. There's still sort of some things that are not quite right about the face area, but how many times have I been stung total? You know what? That's a fine question. I can only approximate in my life probably at least 10 times. Yeah, I don't know the exact number, sorry to say. Yeah, at least 10 times, because I spend so much time out in the garden. I'm kind of at high risk of getting stung by bees just purely because I'm outside so much. And I try to be careful, and the last 3 or 4 times, it's probably even more than 10 times. The last 3 or 4 times I've been stung by bees, I had shoes on. Just like, I think in America you guys call them flip-flops. Here we call them thongs, and I know that in America that's something else. But I had flip-flops on, um, and somehow as I was walking, the bee managed to go between my foot and my shoe, and then as I stepped back down again, I stepped onto the bee and got stung. So crazy. Even when I wear shoes, I'm not safe apparently. So, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna have to just be a lot more careful this year. Maybe wear like shoes, like closed shoes. But then it's gonna be like way too warm. It's just gonna be way too warm. I don't know if you're aware, but our summers get really hot. Like really, really, really way too warm. Like we'll have, I guess, you guys use Fahrenheit, right? I'll look up. So we have, it's not uncommon for us to have a 42-degree day. C to Fahrenheit. Yeah, hopefully that's the complete thingy. So 107 degrees Fahrenheit is not uncommon for us in summer, and we can have those days back to back. You know, sometimes we'll get 3 days in a row, 107 degrees Fahrenheit, which is deadly. It's very dangerous. And it's crazy dry too. It's hot and dry. We can go weeks with no rain, and you'll have, yeah, temperatures between 95 and 107 Fahrenheit. In the cities, yeah. Yeah, that's in the southern part of Australia, which is like the cooler part of Australia. It's technically, um, why can't I think of the word? Temperate. It's technically a temperate climate. It's a bit more sort of Mediterranean, so we have hot, dry summers and cold, wet winters. So yeah, we'll get those temperatures in the cities, in the suburbs, yeah, everywhere. It's scorching, scorching hot. Like it'll kill your plants if you're not careful. You've got to put shade cloth up. Sometimes when the temperature gets that hot, to try to protect your plants. You've obviously got to do a lot of watering, especially in the evenings, like at night time when it cools down. It's just a deadly, deadly hot. Like animals will die from it, birds will die from it. I always put water out, um, so that bees and birds and stuff have something to drink. I've rescued a few birds in the summertime that have just obviously got heat stroke or something like that. Taken them inside and cooled them down, given them water, release them later on in the evening, stuff like that. We get very dangerous temperatures. It's worse in like the Northern Territory and stuff like that, like out in the desert areas or the arid, semi-arid. I think they get 125 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe even more. But it's wild. I can't speak to that because I don't live in those areas, but I know that it gets very, 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 very hot. Um, it's more common. I'm gonna say the most common temperature we'll get a lot is like 35, so which is 95 Fahrenheit. Lots of 35-degree days. Plenty of 35-degree days in summer, which is 95 Fahrenheit. So yeah, it gets hot. It gets really hot, and the one of the worst things about it, personally, I think, there's not many good places to swim. Like, not close to where I live anyway. I've either got to kind of drive about an hour or so to get down to the coast if I want to swim at the beach. Um, Otherwise, yeah, there's not just, I guess you can go to pools and stuff, but they tend to be really crowded and I don't like it. We also don't even have cooling in the house we're currently in, which is rubbish. No cooling. It's pretty bad. Alright, just adding some extra color in here. Kind of cute. So yeah, summers are rough. I'm not a fan of summer. It's not in this country anyway, not in Australia. It's too hot. It's too dangerous. Um, we obviously we are blah. We have risk of bushfires as well. Not so much in the suburbs necessarily, or at least not the inner suburbs. We do obviously have suburban areas that are a bit more semi-rural and stuff. And yeah, bushfires are just a regular thing at summertime. Everyone in Australia is pretty much always on high alert at summertime for bushfires. So summer is not my favorite time of year. I like spring. I like autumn and winter. Autumn's sort of my favorite. Not too hot, not too cold. Generally no risk of bushfires. It's just nice. And after summer, yeah, I welcome autumn. After those hot summers, I really look forward to autumn when it cools back down. So, yeah. think I'm not gonna go like too much longer on this fish, I think, because I'll zoom out again and see how I feel about the progress that I've made and where it's at, and if I'm happy to call it kind of soon. Anywhere near the infamous funny named water park. I'm trying to think of the funnily named water park. Is that what is the funny named water park? I'm trying to think of one. I'm gonna say no since I can't think of it. I guess I'm not. Do we have colourful trees? Um, I suppose probably not as much as some other countries. We definitely do have like deciduous trees, which are obviously like introduced from Europe with the settlers. The house we currently are renting at, there's two big ash trees in the front yard, and they're both deciduous, so they get the really beautiful Harold Holt Memorial Swimming Center. That's interesting. Harold Holt Memorial Swimming. I'll look up where it is. Harold Holt Memorial Swimming Center. Let's have a look. I've never heard of that before. Let's see. Where is it? Let's see. It's in Glen Iris in Melbourne. That's interesting. Interesting. Huh. Um, I could I could go there. It wouldn't be like crazy, crazy, crazy far for me to go to. But I never heard of it, and I've never been there. I'll have to look into it a little bit more. Harold Holt Memorial Swimming Center. How come you know about about that swim center? Is it like I don't know. I'm curious to know why you know it, like where you know it from. Back on the colourful trees, briefly as well. Certain areas in well, I'll speak to Victoria because that's the state I'm in. Certain areas have a lot more European trees than others, um, and generally they're going to do better where there's cooler temperatures. So obviously they're kind of from Europe. The hot Australian summers, um, not so good for those trees. A YouTube video. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yes, I have actually never heard of it. Never been there. But maybe I'll have to look into it a little bit. That's interesting. Yeah, the colourful trees near a swimming pool after a man who drowned is just too funny. Oh no, that's terrible. Is that what they did? That's like a bit of smack in the face, isn't it? Oh, who came up with that? It is funny. You're right. Oh, it's just someone got like a really dark sense of humor. Ooh, I guess the point was probably let's make sure no one ever drowns again, and let's name it in the honor of this guy who drowned. But yeah, you're right. I feel like it wasn't the best idea. It wasn't very well thought out. I think whoops. Whoops on that one. Poor Harold Holt. Oh well. Oh well, oh well. What do I feel about this? I don't know. I feel kind of so so. Kind of so so. I wonder if Suika gave up. He must have, or they must have. I assume it's a he, but Suika must have given up. Unless they're just lurking. They could be lurking. Maybe I'm speaking too soon. Just waiting to pop back up. And threaten to make a jacket out of some other part of my body. Alrighty. I feel like I wish I could look at this with fresh eyes. They're crafting the perfect insult. Yes, you're probably right about that. They're like going a bit nuts and they're just sitting there and like, oh, how can I really attack this person? What's the meanest thing I could say? How can I really get into their head? Make them regret their life and all their decisions. I learned a long time ago that the more you are fussed about stuff like that, the worse it tends to make it. Like the person just sort of comes at you more and more and more. It's better to just laugh about it, laugh it off, which it is funny. Like, I'm not going to be bothered by that kind of thing. Actually, it's kind of amusing. So, I don't know. If they're hoping for anything other than me just kind of laughing at them, they're wasting their time. Which I know, like, just being online and YouTube especially seems to be a bit of a place for trolling, I suppose. Like, it happens everywhere, but I've never experienced all that much of it um, over the course of my life. But YouTube just seems to be the place for people to come and, I don't know, act badly, behave badly for some reason. I guess just because there's so many people on here, right? It's like such a popular platform that you're bound to have, you know, the bad, what do you call them? Bad eggs. People just trying to stir stuff up. Can't get this section of the fish right. It's frustrating me. But if nothing else, I have to say, Australian people, I mean, maybe I'm speaking too generally here, but often can be pretty laid back and just be like, yeah, okay, you know, you do you, alright, okay, you know, act ridiculous, be silly, you know, yell and scream and kick and fuss, whatever. I'm just gonna be over here drawing a fish, I don't care. Eventually they realize they're wasting their time and just go bother someone else. It's a shame. I wanted to be helpful to that person, Suika, whoever they are. But yeah, they're more interested in, you know, I don't even know what they were doing. Was that some sort of weird fantasy, making a jacket out of my, what did they say? Da, 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 da. A suit out of your insides. Little do they know I'm a big fan of horror. Second Aussie who said that. What, that we're laid back, or that YouTube is kind of overflowing with people acting like wee little tanty babies. Having said that, that's only the only person that I've had so far that's been a bit poorly behaved. But this is only the, what, 6th or so live stream that I've ever done. And, I've only ever had maybe a half dozen, maybe a dozen people jump in chat and say hi. A couple of those people are regulars now. And already, the laid back thing. Yeah, well, I think it's kind of a... Why can't I figure out how to make the best of these birds? I think it's just a thing. I think we like to just be like, okay, yeah, sure. You do that, I'll do this. I'm sure it comes a lot down to the individual as well. I mean, I know plenty of people that are far more sensitive than me, and that might be upset if someone started picking on them. I've it's never really bothered me. I think as much as we Australians can be laid back, we can also be kind of like mental. Like, set the wrong person off in the wrong way, and yeah, you're in for a time. Yeah, it's not really. Painting is kind of, I don't know. I feel a bit stuck. Let's just try to get this little bit in here. What time am I at? It's almost 4 p.m. So I think I'll jump around the painting a bit, like add in a few little touch-ups, and then I think I'll just call it for today, because I should probably give my eyes a bit of a break and, have something to drink probably. Start sorting out some dinner and other life responsibilities that I need to take care of. Alright, so let's have a look. Do, 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 do. Jumping back and forth between the reference, looking at the reference and looking at what I've got here. Not too bad, I guess. You'd be a bit more yellow in the tail. Use the airbrush, and we'll grab whatever this is. Brush in a bit of that. Yep, yep. What else? Bit of this pinky kind of color here. And what else? Yeah, this is definitely very challenging. Even right at the start of the stream, when I was looking around for a reference photo to use, I knew that all of these things are going to be pretty tricky. I was looking at squids and jellyfish. Then I settled on the little herring. Any of those things that I would have chosen are all pretty difficult. I squint my eyes and take a look at what I've got. Alright, this bit's wrong. This bit needs fixing. Let me see. Bum, 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 bum. Like this, maybe. Like this. It's maybe a tiny bit better. How transparent was the jellyfish? Oh my gosh, I found a thing. It was actually a fish inside a jellyfish. I'll open it up. Look at that. Ridiculous. Amazing and ridiculous. So I guess the jellyfish is pretty transparent. I think I tried to save another one, but it didn't work. You know, sometimes you try to save images and they're the wrong. There's some weird file type, so they don't save properly. And this was the. Like, why doesn't that want to open? That's weird. Okay, be gone. Oh my god. That must be a web file as well, so it's not going to open. Dang! So anyways, I settled on this fish. Little herring. I did an illustration of one of these a while ago as well. Well, a while ago. Not that long ago, a couple weeks ago maybe. I just really like fish. They're cute. I think I put it on Insta. Where is it? Yeah, this one. It's not the best photograph actually, but I put glitter on it to make it like shiny, sparkly. Cute little guy. That was another little herring. This one's obviously a little bit more detailed. And that one, the other one was favorite fish? The herring? Maybe. I really like sunfish as well. And I really like tuna. Tuna are an epic fish. I love sharks as well, which are technically fish. Big fan of sharks. What other kinds of fish do I love? Um, Lots, all of them. I like salmon and rainbow trout are pretty interesting as well. We've got a fish. Is it barramundi? Barramundi are an interesting fish. I'm pretty sure are they only found in Australia? Let us quickly find out. And hope that I can spell it correctly. Hehe, I did. It's a perch fish. Da 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 da. Or maybe I'm thinking of the wrong. No, I think I'm thinking of barramundi. I don't think it's only in Australia. Jesus, look at the size of that fish. Holy crap. I really don't love seeing, you know, dead fish, but a lot of open ocean fish. Yeah. I wish to expand my general animal knowledge, including fish. I don't know why, it's odd. I've always liked animals, all animals. I'm interested in all of them. But I just find fish to be really fascinating because they're just so different. Different and interesting. Cool animals. Where is this? This is here. I need to get these marks in. This is hard. It's hard for me to see where it goes. Here. And then here. And then here. Yeah, I feel like that shouldn't be there. I like birds as well. Birds and fish. Birds and fish. I'm particularly keen on. Also like insects. I actually used to go out with this group. They're called like the Field Naturalists. The club? Field Naturalist Club? Field Nats. Well, they're called the Field Naturalists of Victoria anyway. And they're basically just a group, mostly of like senior people. Like, yeah, like, older people. They're 40s, 50s, even 60s, I think, some of them. And they just go out to all different parks and all sorts of different areas, and they basically just like walk around and look at stuff and talk about stuff and take photos and whatever. And we were going out on those excursions semi regularly. They've got different groups for different things. So there's like a fungi one, so like fungi and mycelium group. There's a microscopy. Am I saying that right? Microscopy group. So that's for like looking at things through microscopes. Um, There was one for insects. What was that group called? That was like terrestrial invertebrates or something, that group. Yeah, really good stuff for going and just like getting out into nature, learning about stuff. All of the people in the groups have insane amounts of knowledge. That was great. I really want to get back into that again now. All that the lockdowns are all kind of over, all the restrictions with COVID are pretty much over now. So I'd love to get back into that some more of that sort of stuff. That'd be great. And we saw some really, really interesting stuff back when we were doing those trips. Really cool creatures, which you'll just probably overlook, have no idea that they were even there if you weren't looking for them, or at least keeping your eye out. Now there's something funny about this bit that I don't like. It's a bit better. Do do do. I'm committing to that line being that line and that line being that one, and adding a few more skinnier subset. Well, when you can pretty much go to any of the excursions you want. They've just got calendar, like a little calendar of events, and you can rock up to any of them anytime you want. If you're part of if you pay the like membership fee, you can just go. You don't have to pay anything. And I think if you don't have a membership, you just pay. I think it was usually about $5 or something, um, which is more or less just a donation kind of thing to keep the clubs running. So I went to a bunch of different ones. Um, I think the ones I went to the most was the terrestrial invertebrates, which was the sort of the insect outings. Went to a bunch of those. They were great. I don't think we ever made it to a fungi one. There was gonna be an excursion which involved like an overnight stay for the fungi group, and we were like really keen to do that. We were set on taking this trip like over the course of a weekend. I think my partner was even going to like take some time off work and everything, but it happened to fall into when the COVID lockdowns kind of just were starting to be a thing. So the trip ended up being cancelled. So never made it to that, unfortunately. But maybe this year or next year, if everything's back up and running, have another go, have another try to make it. That would be great. I'd be so keen for that. Alright, I think where these intersect there's like a darker mark or something. It's too dark. Too dark. Ah, it did suck. It was really disappointing. It sounded like it was going to be so much fun. But yeah, maybe next time. I'm hoping that it will run again. If not this year, then maybe next. Well, what are we in now? winter, so autumn's passed. Fungi season has passed, so if it ran this year, it would be done already. So I'll just have to keep a bit of an eye out for next season. I think. Try to make it. That would be great. And what is going on here? This is not meant to be this bright either. Can you hear the birds in the background of my microphone? I know that when I checked out some of my other previous live streams to see if they'd like worked and uploaded properly and everything, I heard I could hear birds in the background of the stream. It was pretty funny. There's wattle birds out there carrying on, so I don't know if you can hear them or not. Alright, where's my airbrush? And I'll go dodge, and I will go nice blue. Too much, hey. You barely hear them. Well, that's not too bad then. They've got a really unusual call. It's not a very pleasant sound, to be honest. Sort of sounds like a chicken choking on something. It's a really strange bird call. But yeah, pretty common around here. Hang around in my front yard all the time. Bully the other birds. Birds are kind of mean to each other. It's just like a normal, that's just what they do. That's birds. Birds are kind of mean to each other. Alright. It is by no means perfect. I feel a bit so-so about the outcome of the painting, but I think I'm gonna have to just wrap it up for now. I think that's a pretty decent length of time to spend on an the beautiful sounds of nature. Yeah, it sounds like amazing. Is that a chicken choking? Ah, nature's beautiful. Is that a bird dying or what? Alright, I'm gonna close down this reference thingy. I've already forgotten how to do it. Remove this reference. There we go. I flipped my fish. Ah. Ah. It's not too bad. Really don't need to be that close. Maybe 30%. 30% is a good amount of zoom. So there we go. Oh, is it nighttime for you, is it, Bucky? It is 4 p.m. 4:05 p.m. where I am. Time for me to go sort out some dinner. Time to cook. Thanks so much for hanging around during the live stream and chatting with me, Bucky. I very much appreciated your company, and your comedy, and your moderating of Suika, who was a bit of a loop, a bit of a fruit loop, hey. Maybe I'll see you in another one in future. I've started doing live streams quite regularly, so probably several a week I do now. Not tomorrow, I've got stuff on, but very likely I'll be back on Tuesday doing another live stream. So yeah, if you ever feel like jumping in, feel free. I very much appreciated you having you around, so yeah, thanks for being here. And I'm calling it. That's the end of the live stream. Thanks everybody, whether you're here now or here later. It's been a good time, and I'll come back in and do some more painting pretty soon. And yeah, I'll catch you all then. Alright, bye Bucky. I'm out of here. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Have a good week. Alright. Bye bye.